And we're back. Alright, let's talk about the Goldfish. Now, both the B and C episodes of this program, The Goldfish and Sleepless Nights, were both written by Matthew Westwood. Alright, let's see what we got. First thing we see is a stick tumbling into the picture here. Looks like they're outside, and it's a very gray sky in the background. And there's Kipper. And he's just kicking the stick along, trying to decide what to do today. And after a few seconds, he finally decides to go and see Tiger. And with one final kick on the stick, he goes ahead and does just that. But along the way, he sees a puddle with a half-dead goldfish laying in it. Like, it's not totally dead yet, but there's not much water for him. And he's just kind of sitting there flopping around. And Kipper says, "Hello? How did you end up in a puddle? I'm wondering the same thing. I've never quite figured that out. A goldfish sitting in a puddle there. I don't know if it got carried up onto the shore in a storm somehow, or if somebody was carrying one of those fish in a bag that you get from a pet store or carnival or something. That'd be really sad if they lost their fish that way and dropped it there. Yeah, I don't know." And Kipper's looking around. He can't figure out where the fish might have come from. So he takes both of his hands and scoops up the fish out of the pond and says, "You can't stay there." Which is very true. He says, "You can come with me. We'll have to be quick, though." So now he's trying to carry this goldfish with a little bit of water cupped into his hand. He's having trouble holding on to the fish because it keeps jumping around. And he finally arrives at Tiger's house and calls for Tiger to quick let him in. Yeah, it's true, because he's holding the fish in the water. He can't really knock on the door or ring the doorbell or anything if both of his hands are occupied like that. I guess he could kick on the door if he wanted to, but I guess shouting works, because then Tiger opens the door, and he lets Kipper in, and Tiger's holding what looks like a beach towel and swing flippers. And we see a whole pile of beach stuff scattered around the floor, and Tiger's getting ready to go on vacation. He says he's packing up for his holidays. And Tiger's got all kinds of stuff here. There's some boots, a shovel, rubber ducky, sunglasses, sunscreen, a toothbrush, a beach ball. There's a camera there, too. That camera looks familiar. Where have I seen that before? Was there an episode of Kipper where they were taking pictures? They took pictures in Hedgehog Watch, but that was a much more modern camera than this. Oh, wait a minute. What did that camera on Blue's Clues look like? The one from the episode Majesta's Coming Over. Wow, that camera actually looks very similar to that. I'm looking at some stills from that Blue's Clues episode right now. Like, it's a different design, but they're both yellow and red, and it's got this little viewfinder thing at the top, like right at the very middle. It's got like this round part on top, and then there's a yellow button at the corner. Okay. It's really interesting to see similar cameras on two different Nick Jr. shows, even though Kipper's not really an official Nick Jr. show. It was one that they acquired. They didn't make it themselves. So anyway, Kipper says, "Tiger, look what I found." And Tiger doesn't even look. He just says, "Oh yes, very nice, Kipper." Doesn't even look at the fish in Kipper's hand that he's still struggling to hold on to. And Tiger's talking to himself, packing up his swimming trunks. When I was 3, at first I thought he said tricks or trinks or something, but no, it's swimming trunks, which is another word for swimsuit, like the kind of shorts that you wear when you're swimming. And Kipper really wishes that Tiger would help him with his fish, and then he sees Tiger's bucket sitting there, and he drops the fish into the buckets, and then runs it over to the sink and fills it up with water. And see, there's another weird shot with, like, a side view of Tiger, and his mouth is underneath his neck, like below his chin. This is definitely one of the earlier episodes, because they eventually figured out how to do a side view of his talking face later. Right here where Tiger's saying, "What are you doing, Kipper?" His mouth is underneath his chin, like tucked in his neck, and then at the very next shot, we see his mouth above his chin, right beneath his nose. I don't know what the animators were thinking when they did it that way. It's really weird. Like, even at the age of 3, I noticed that. So then Kipper finally shows Tiger the fish in the buckets and explains they found it in a puddle, but Tiger's not too happy about this. He says, "You're gonna have to find someplace else to put your fish. I gotta pack my bucket. I can't go on holiday without it." Then Kipper notices that Tiger has a goldfish bowl sitting on top of a chest of drawers. And Kipper thinks that maybe he could put the tadpole in there. Or, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's a tadpole in the goldfish bowl that belongs to Tiger. And Kipper's thinking that maybe he could put his goldfish in there with him. Kipper's pretty convinced that the goldfish and the tadpole could share the bowl. Well, the goldfish bowl has a little house inside it for the tadpole to swim in and out of. And Tiger's afraid that if the goldfish is in there with the tadpole, that maybe the goldfish would eat the tadpole because the goldfish is bigger. Tiger says, besides, there's not really enough room for 2 fish in there. And Kipper's like, fish? Tiger, don't you know what a tadpole is? A tadpole is a baby. And then Tiger cuts him off and hands him a plastic bag full of water for Kipper to take the goldfish home in. So it appears that Tiger doesn't know yet that a tadpole is a young frog. He thinks that the tadpole's just a fish. So then we dissolve to Tiger leaving. His suitcase is all packed. It's the kind with wheels on the one side. He's rolling it along. Kipper says, have a good time. Send me a card. So now Kipper's on a mission to find a proper home for his goldfish. Then we fade to black, and here comes the next scene. Kipper's going in the back door of his house, trying to think of a place to put his goldfish. He looks up at some plants on a high shelf. They look very nice, but not a good place for a fish. Looks over towards his basket bed with his stuffed animals in it. Oh wow, there's even a bone in his bed. I've never noticed that before. And we'll see more of the bed and the animals in the C episode today. Kipper looks over towards the kitchen table, and the iconic cereal boxes there with the rooster and the sunbeams, along with a tea set and some plates and spoons. There's also a nearly empty jar of cherry jam. And Kipper says, that's what I'll use, a jam jar. It'd be a very tiny goldfish bowl, but it is a round glass container, so we'll see if that works. And so then Kipper eats what's left of the jam out of the jar, and then I assume he washes it out the rest of the way, and then puts some water and the fish into it. And meanwhile, we see Tiger on his vacation at the beach. He's eating some cotton candy, lying there in a beach chair with a hat and sunglasses on. I can't help but notice that bucket right there. Wait, is that the same bucket that Kipper tried to put the fish in earlier? Oh yeah, I guess it is. But the way the handle is sticking straight up like that, it looks very much like Pail from Blue's Clues. You know, with the yellow handle and the red bucket. It looks exactly like Pail. Just put a face on there and boom, you got Pail. And here comes a seagull. Let me play this in slow motion. What exactly is this seagull doing? Okay, the seagull is taking Tiger's hat. And as Tiger turns around and tries to catch the hat, he drops his cotton candy and the sunglasses fly off. And then the picture flashes, and then we see a still picture of Tiger reaching up to try to grab the hat that's the seagull stole. I wonder who took that picture. Because there's no way Tiger could have taken that himself unless he brought a tripod for his camera and there was a timer on it. I don't know, maybe he hired a photographer or something. And then we see Tiger's tadpole back at his house. And the tadpole looks like it's getting bigger. It's got 2 legs on it. Yeah, this is the very first show where I learned that a tadpole is a baby frog. I've seen a bunch of other shows talk about that too. As a matter of fact, just 3 years ago on Eleanor Wonders Why, the episode Eleanor's Fishy Friend, Eleanor was friends with she made friends with a tadpole in the creek there, and she was watching it grow and change into a frog. At the beginning of that show, she was totally interested in fish, like it was the coolest thing in the world, and towards the end, she was completely interested in frogs. And at the beginning, her dad was saying, I think Eleanor's on a bit of a fish kick, and at the end, her dad said, I think she's on a bit of a frog kick. Let's see, what other shows were there? Oh yeah, Curious George. What was that episode called? It was the last one featured in the Zoo Night and Other Stories DVD. Curious George Discovers the Poles. That was Season 1, Episode 10A of Curious George, the PBS Kids series. Okay. Now, in that version, George knew that the tadpoles were unique and that they're different from fish, but as he watched his tadpoles change, at first he assumes that it was a completely different creature and that they scared the tadpoles away. And then he found out later that it was the same creature all along, turning into a frog. I also remember this being mentioned on Taboomafu in the episode Slimy Buddies. Zombie was looking at those little tadpoles in the guy's hand saying, I can't believe my mind. Those little swimmers become frogs? They don't look at all like their mom. And in this episode of Kipper, Tiger is eventually going to learn the same thing. And Kipper knows it. But what he doesn't know is how to take care of his goldfish properly yet. He's sitting there at the kitchen table watching his goldfish in the jam jar, and he's eating something out of a box, some kind of white stuff. And Kipper's starting to realize that the fish is not too happy in the jar because there's not enough room for him to swim around in. The fish is too big. Now he's thinking that it might be a better idea to put the fish into an ice cream tub. Oh, so that's what that is. Ice cream, huh? Must be vanilla ice cream since it's white. I've never seen a square ice cream container before. They're usually round. Well, more recently I've seen square yogurt containers, but never ice cream, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're more popular in the UK, those kind of containers. Alright, continuing on with Tiger's holiday. We see Tiger on a roller coaster. He's coming down really fast, and he looks a little bit scared there, like, whoa! We don't hear any sound out of him, though, but his face says it all. Then another flash on the picture, and another still is taken. There's gotta be somebody there taking these pictures. Because it's not like Tiger's got a camera on the roller coaster somewhere, otherwise the background behind him would have been moving. Let me look at that roller coaster again. Is that the same one that they showed in the episode The Magic Lamp? Let's see, it's purple on the bottom, mostly red, got a yellow sun design on the front, and it's got green seats with yellow borders. Let me pull out the magic lamp here real quick. Wow, it does look very similar. Almost the same design, just a few slight minor differences in the design, but most of the same colors. Mostly red with some yellow and green, purple on the bottom. In the magic lamp, the sun actually has orange in the center with the yellow rays. In the goldfish, it's a completely yellow sun. In the magic lamp, Kipper was wishing that he could take a ride on the biggest, highest, longest, scariest Big Dipper in the whole world. So maybe he heard about this roller coaster that Tiger rode on during his holiday, and he wished he could have rode it himself, and with the magic lamp he was able to make that wish come true. That could be. Alright, there's Tiger's tadpole again. It's not really a tadpole anymore, it's a green frog now with a tail. The frog's getting a little too big for the goldfish bowl. Meanwhile, Kipper's goldfish is having trouble adapting to the ice cream tub. And when Kipper observes what's going on, he says something really funny. That's not right. You want to go round and round, not square and square. Square and square. Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, as the goldfish is swimming, he's kind of running into each corner every time he tries to swim around. And then he hears something come through his mail slot at the front door. He walks up to it, and Tiger did in fact send Kipper a card. He'd been hoping for one. It's a postcard with a little picture of the ocean side. There's a few mountains in the background too, that's kind of cool. The card says, Dear Kipper, having a lovely time, only 3 more days. Love, Tiger. How long has he been away? It's definitely been more than 3 days, maybe close to a week. Because nobody's been around to feed the tadpole. Must be enough food in the bowl already. So Tiger says he's having a lovely time, but the 2 pictures that we've seen so far, looks like he's having a little bit of trouble enjoying it, because there was the whole ordeal with the seagull stealing his hat, and then there was the scary ride on the roller coaster. And now you see Tiger again, jumping in the ocean waves. Looks like he's having a lot of fun there. And there's his bucket and green backpack and beach chair in the background. Seagull didn't take those yet. Oh wow, now Tiger's being chased by a really huge wave. Isn't that funny? We were just talking about waves last week on Reading Rainbow, My Life of the Wave. And we got another picture clicked. I wonder if Tiger is sending Kipper these pictures. I was going to say maybe they came with the postcard that he sent, but that wouldn't make sense. Otherwise they would have to be an envelope to hold them all together. Maybe these pictures are just for Tiger's personal collection, who knows? And there's Tiger's goldfish bowl once more. The frog is fully grown, swimming around, and he comes to the surface and jumps up onto the edge. Oh, that reminds me. Back in February when we were talking about the gizmo, there was a frog in that one too, and I was wondering if that was this same frog who followed Tiger home on his sailboat to see him again, possibly. That was kind of a funny little theory. Don't know if this is that same frog or not, because it'll really make sense when we find out what happens to the frog at the end. Now Kipper's in the bathroom looking down into the bathtub, which can only mean one thing. Yep, the goldfish is in there. And the goldfish is certainly blowing some really big bubbles. What's going on here? The goldfish looks pretty unhappy too. We actually see these bubbles floating up. Does this mean that... Is there soap in this bathtub? Is the fish swimming around in soapy water? Ew! That could be deadly for a little goldfish. You better get that thing out of there, Kipper. He says, oh dear, I'm sure that's not right. Yeah, really. And now, here we are at the park. There's the duck pond. And Kipper's carrying the fish in the ice cream tub again. Good idea. Definitely a lot better than carrying it in your hands, huh? Kipper says, this is where you belong. Not in a puddle, not in a jam jar, and not in my bath. And he picks up the ice cream container and dumps the fish into the duck pond. He says, bye-bye then. Goodbye. Bye-bye then, goodbye. They used that same recording again in the episode The Magic Carpet, when he was saying goodbye to the carpet as it was flying away. So I wonder if that's where the fish came from originally, if it was living in the pond and somehow got washed up onto the shore. I don't know how close to the park Kipper was in the beginning, but it's certainly a possibility. Now, here's Tiger coming home. What's he carrying there? He's wearing his sunglasses and he's pulling his suitcase on wheels. He's carrying some kind of green thing too. What is that? What is that thing? It almost looks like a giant tadpole. I was gonna say, is it a shark or a dolphin or a whale or something? But that can't be. It's got feet on it. It's this big green creature. I don't know, maybe it's some kind of lizard. Who knows? I wonder if Tiger won this toy by playing some kind of boardwalk game. That could be. Then the two of them say hello, and Kipper says, have you had a good holiday? Tiger says, yes, thanks. How's your fish? Then Kipper explains that he just left him go in the pond at the park, and Tiger agrees that it's probably for the best. So now they're going into Tiger's house, and as they're walking in the door, they don't notice it, but the frog is hopping out of the door. He's just happy to finally be able to get out of that fishbowl and hop away, be free. And see, there they're doing it again. Tiger says, that's funny, my tadpole is gone. When he says, that's funny, he's talking out of his neck. And when he says, my tadpole is gone, he turns around, and he's talking out the front of his face, below his nose. This is some of the most ridiculous animation as far as talking and lip syncing that I've ever seen. So they see that the tadpole is gone, and Kipper's not really all that surprised. He knows exactly what happened. And that's when he tells Tiger that a tadpole is not a fish, it's a baby frog. And then Tiger just laughs hysterically at him. He's like, a baby frog? A frog with a wiggly tail? Oh, Kipper, don't you know anything? Like, Tiger doesn't believe him. At least not yet. Hopefully he'll figure it out eventually. At least he's not sad that the tadpole is gone. He's just laughing. Oh, by the way, that's actually not just a drawers. It's a little cabinet with doors that swing open that the goldfish bowl is sitting on. And final scene, yep, there's the frog jumping into the pond, which I assume is the same pond where they were trying to sail Tiger's sailboats. And that's when the frog in the Gizmo episode first climbed up onto the boat and eventually rode on the boat and followed Kipper and Tiger home. So it could be the same frog, because the Gizmo came after this. The Goldfish is episode 14, and the Gizmo is episode 25, right? Yeah, episode 25. Actually, I don't know, because the frog in the Goldfish has a much greener belly. Didn't the frog in the Gizmo have a belly that was a lighter green? Or am I thinking of the magic frog from the Rainbow Puddle? Yeah, so unless they decide to color it differently between episodes, like if it had like a different art director or something, the frog in the Gizmo looks different than the one in the Goldfish, so it might be a different frog. Be funny if it was the same one, though. So anyway, in the final shots, the frog climbs up onto a lily pad there, and there's the goldfish, and the fish squirts water right into the frog's face. And the frog kind of shakes himself off and looks a little bit annoyed. And that's it. That was Kipper the dog, the goldfish. Very interesting story. It's kind of cool how Kipper rescued that fish from potentially dying in that puddle and figuring out what to do with it. And I'm very glad that the fish was released into the wild. That was really cool. Alright, that's pretty much all I have to say about that one. So I'm going to cut here once again, and then we're going to take a look at one of the most iconic Kipper episodes of all time, Sleepless Nights. I'll be back with that in a moment.
Did you know Kipper is coming up next on Nick Jr.? Really? What should we do? Let's just sit here and wait till he comes. Okay. And then we'll watch him. I like the way you sing. Just for me.